When a legend speaks, the paddock listens. But this time, what Valentino Rossi said about his own protégé could shake Ducati to its core. MotoGP has seen its fair share of drama, but rarely does the godfather of modern racing, Valentino Rossi, weigh in with such candid precision. In a recent round of post-race interviews, Rossi made a remark that ignited a firestorm of speculation across the racing world. A sharp commentary about Francesco Bagnaia, the rider many consider to be his spiritual successor. The two have shared a mentor-protégé relationship for years, with Bagnaia rising through the ranks under Rossi's VR46 Academy before going on to become a two-time world champion with Ducati. But things in 2025 have not gone according to plan. While fans expected dominance from the reigning champ, what they've witnessed is a season of inconsistency, bike issues, and unexplained motivation lapses. And now, with Rossi's comments out in the open, the situation has escalated beyond just a bad run. It's turning into a full-blown narrative of potential downfall, realignment, and shifting alliances in the MotoGP power structure. In this report, we break down the connection between Rossi and Bagnaia, the claim that's caught the sport off guard, and what it could mean for the rest of the 2025 season. Every champion has a mentor, and for Bagnaia, that mentor was Valentino Rossi. But even fairy tales in MotoGP come with a plot twist. Francesco Bagnaia's journey to the MotoGP elite has been closely tied to Valentino Rossi's vision of shaping the future of Italian motorsport. As a product of the VR46 Academy, Rossi's personal initiative to nurture Italian talent, Bagnaia carried the hopes of a generation and the direct endorsement of a nine-time world champion. It wasn't just about speed. It was about identity. When Pecco won his first world title, it wasn't just a win for Ducati. It was a validation of Rossi's legacy as a mentor. Their bond was deeper than most rider-coach relationships. Rossi wasn't just training Bagnaia on technique. He was preparing him to carry the torch. Bagnaia's attitude, press presence, and fan interactions bore the hallmarks of the doctor's schooling. And when Bagnaia dominated in 2022 and 2023, it looked like the VR46 dream had truly taken hold at the factory Ducati team. Everything lined up perfectly, until it didn't. In 2025, Bagnaia's form has slipped dramatically, leading to uncomfortable questions within Ducati and the wider MotoGP paddock. Rossi, known for his careful choice of words in public, has now gone on record suggesting the issue is deeper than just performance. For a figure like Rossi, typically diplomatic and guarded, to speak so plainly, it hints at a larger disconnect between expectation and reality. The stage is now set for one of MotoGP's most intriguing internal conflicts. From champion to question mark, Bagnaia's 2025 season is the plot twist nobody saw coming. The 2025 MotoGP season was supposed to be another chapter in Francesco Bagnaia's dominance. Instead, it has turned into a year of confusion, underperformance, and growing scrutiny. After back-to-back world titles, Bagnaia entered this season with high expectations and a refreshed machine, Ducati's much-hyped GP25. But the reality has been jarringly different. Despite early optimism in preseason tests, Bagnaia has struggled to adapt to the GP25's handling characteristics. The bike, while technically superior on paper, hasn't responded to his riding style the way the GP23 or GP24 did. Several insiders have noted that Pecco appears unsettled on the new machine, often losing ground in critical acceleration zones or braking points where he used to dominate. His body language during post-race interviews speaks volumes: less confident, more reserved, and frequently deferring technical questions to his team. The performance data backs it up. In 5 of the last 7 races, Bagnaia has finished outside the top 5, a shocking stat for a reigning champ. Meanwhile, Marc Marquez, now Bagnaia's teammate at Ducati, has been consistently outperforming him, adding pressure and fueling rumors about a potential shift in team priorities. Marquez's aggressive riding and psychological warfare, which once derailed Rossi's own career trajectory, now seems to be haunting Bagnaia as well. Amid all this, Rossi's recent comment during a paddock interview took things to another level. "He's very fast, but unfortunately this year he's struggling a bit," Rossi said. Innocent on the surface but loaded with subtext when delivered by someone as strategic as the doctor. It wasn't just an observation, it was a public signal, and MotoGP insiders have taken notice. Valentino Rossi didn't just comment, he questioned the entire foundation of Bagnaia's future at Ducati. In a sport where every word from a racing legend can shift paddock politics, Valentino Rossi's latest assessment of Francesco Bagnaia wasn't just a casual observation. It was a bombshell. During a media briefing following the Japanese Grand Prix, Rossi made what many interpreted as a veiled critique of Ducati's direction and Bagnaia's standing within the team. But beneath the diplomatic language, the real message was clear. Rossi believes something is fundamentally wrong with the Bagnaia Ducati equation in 2025. He started by acknowledging Bagnaia's raw talent, stating, "Francesco is very fast, very skilled. But this season, it's obvious he's facing difficulties." Then came the curveball. Rossi pointed to the new Ducati GP25 and its demanding handling characteristics, suggesting that the bike has alienated Bagnaia from his comfort zone. Even more telling was his mention of the pressure Bagnaia is facing, not just from the bike, but from his teammate Marc Marquez. "There is a lot of pressure this season, both from inside and outside. That always changes how a rider behaves," Rossi noted. But what truly raised eyebrows was his implication that Bagnaia might need a different environment altogether, possibly a return to his roots at the VR46 team. "Sometimes, a rider needs to feel like himself again," Rossi said cryptically, when asked about how Bagnaia could recover his form. For those who understand Rossi's subtle but calculated manner of speaking, this wasn't just commentary, it was a suggestion, maybe even a nudge. This single moment changed the conversation in the paddock. Suddenly, the idea of Bagnaia leaving Ducati, something unthinkable just a year ago, became a topic of serious discussion. Rossi didn't outright call for it, but he didn't need to. His carefully chosen words did enough damage control to remain neutral, but sent a signal loud and clear to Ducati's management: "Fix this or risk losing your champion." The message was sharp, the implications massive. In MotoGP, that's how silent wars begin. There's more than meets the eye. Insiders say Bagnaia's slump isn't just mechanical, it's mental. Digging deeper into Ducati's 2025 season reveals a more complex storm brewing under the surface. Publicly, the team maintains its support for Bagnaia. But internally, frustrations are mounting. The GP25 was supposed to be Ducati's most refined weapon yet, and the factory invested heavily in its development. Yet, from the early rounds, it's been clear that Bagnaia has been wrestling, not riding, the bike. One of the most telling indicators of Ducati's crisis came during mid-season testing, when Bagnaia quietly requested a session on the GP24, the bike used by Rossi's VR46 team. The reason? He hoped to recapture the feeling that once made him unbeatable. Sources inside Ducati confirmed the team reluctantly agreed, and the results were revealing. Bagnaia's pace improved instantly on the older spec. That sent a wave of panic through Ducati's engineering department, as it suggested their premier development might not suit their star rider at all. But machinery is only half the equation. Insiders close to the VR46 camp have also reported that Bagnaia is disconnected, lacking the usual fire, skipping extra data sessions, and appearing withdrawn even in team meetings. He's lost motivation. One VR46 figure reportedly told Italian press off the record. Others speculate the pressure of defending his title, coupled with the rising shadow of Marquez, has created a mental spiral. Rossi's recent public stance could also be a calculated move to protect Bagnaia from further internal damage, or to quietly open the door for a future move to VR46. Either way, there is no denying the tension. The energy within Ducati is no longer about celebration, it's about survival. And as the season heads into its critical final stretch, the chemistry between rider, bike, and team is under more strain than ever before. The question now isn't just whether Bagnaia can win again, it's whether he still belongs in red at all. The contract says 2026, but insiders say the clock is ticking much faster for Francesco Bagnaia. In MotoGP, contracts often mean little when performance dips and expectations collapse. Francesco Bagnaia may be signed with Ducati through 2026, but based on the latest developments, it's becoming increasingly clear that his future with the Italian powerhouse is anything but guaranteed. Ducati's top brass, already frustrated with inconsistent results, is reportedly losing patience. Sources close to the factory garage claim that Bagnaia has been quietly issued a deadline: get back to podium form within the next few rounds, or risk being replaced after the season. Valentino Rossi's comments, as subtle as they were, added fuel to that fire. By openly discussing Bagnaia's slump and hinting at alternative environments, where a rider could feel more like himself, Rossi essentially painted a roadmap back to the VR46 team, a squad that not only runs a bike more suited to Bagnaia's preferences, but also provides an environment where he's protected from Marquez-like psychological pressure. But there's a dilemma here. Leaving Ducati, the reigning world championship-winning team, would be viewed by many as a step back. Would Bagnaia willingly take that hit to his prestige just to recover his confidence? Or is it better to stay and fight, risking a continued slide that could tarnish his reputation further? These are the questions Ducati's management is now grappling with, behind closed doors. Meanwhile, Marc Marquez continues to rise. Every strong finish he delivers, especially when Bagnaia lags behind, reshapes the power structure within the garage. Whispers have already begun that Ducati may pivot toward building their 2026 bike more around Marquez's input, especially if Bagnaia doesn't bounce back before the summer break. Such a shift in technical focus could effectively isolate Bagnaia, both psychologically and performance-wise. And then there's VR46. Rossi's team is growing in resources, support, and ambition, with backing from Yamaha and Dorna reportedly offering incentives for factory status promotion. VR46 could soon become a true alternative, not just a junior team but a full-fledged contender. If Bagnaia does walk, that's likely where he'll land. And if Rossi's claim was part of a longer-term plan, it would mean the master strategist is once again playing 4D chess, with Ducati's future hanging in the balance. It started with a comment. It may end with a seismic MotoGP shakeup. In the world of elite racing, timing is everything, not just on the track but off it. Valentino Rossi's words were timed perfectly. What seemed like a passing remark has become a flashing red warning sign for Ducati and Francesco Bagnaia. This isn't just about a rider underperforming. It's about identity, control, and the balance of power in MotoGP's most dominant team. Rossi isn't just a former champion, he's now a kingmaker. His influence runs deep in the paddock and his opinions shape the discourse. By breaking his silence, he has altered how fans, teams, and sponsors view the Bagnaia situation. The narrative is no longer Pecco's having a rough patch. It's now, is Bagnaia finished at Ducati? That's a heavy shift, and one that will be difficult for the rider himself to ignore, no matter how professional he remains in front of the cameras. For Ducati, the pressure is twofold. First, they must fix the GP25's issues to suit both their riders, not just the one who's winning. Second, they must manage the internal rivalry between Bagnaia and Marquez before it becomes toxic. For Bagnaia, the task is even harder. He must block out the noise, rediscover his form, and prove that he's still the rider who won 2 world titles back-to-back. And for Rossi, he just made it known that his eyes are everywhere, and so is his influence. The next few races won't just be about points. They'll be about pride, positioning, and potential exits. Will Bagnaia bounce back and reclaim his throne, or has the writing already been etched onto the Ducati garage walls? In a sport where fractions of a second decide glory or defeat, one press conference can change everything. Let us know what you think. Is Rossi right to publicly challenge his own protégé? Can Bagnaia rise again under this immense pressure? Or is it time for a reset, one that could turn MotoGP's entire grid upside down?